Hey guys, I wanted to make a video talking about the configuration of my shop as it is currently, and just brainstorming some ideas about reconfiguring things, making the floor space more accessible, and just the overall space and area of my shop more efficient and more useful. And I'm making this video for a couple of reasons. One is to kind of help remind myself of some ideas I have. The other is to maybe benefit you guys. I know this is kind of a common problem, especially with hobbyists or knife makers like myself, who don't have dedicated shop space but need to multi-purpose a room or a space, such as a garage or even your basement or rooms in your house. So maybe this will get the wheels turning in your guys' heads as well. And an added benefit to that is maybe you have some suggestions for me, or maybe some methods that you guys have tried. If so, definitely leave some comments for me, send me a PM, or make a response video would be even better, and give me an idea of how you guys lay your shops out or your workspaces. As it is now, things aren't incredibly efficient. I mean, I can definitely get by with what I have, but as you can see, what little workspace I do have quickly clutters up with even the smallest projects, just as I take out the various tools and materials needed to complete them. Another downside as far as multi-purposing this garage goes is now that it's winter time, I definitely want to get both of my cars in here, and that's going to significantly reduce the floor space while those cars are in here, which will probably be more often than not. And not only that, what tools and things I have in the middle now are going to further constrict the spaces around my cars as I need to move them off to the sides and to the front. Now I am working with a 2.5 car garage, so it is fairly big. There is quite a bit of floor space, and even after I get both of my cars in here, I will have a decent amount of space to the sides of my cars, as well as to the front of my cars, even including the workbenches. So that will be a benefit, but at the same time, I think I can kind of reconfigure things and maybe repurpose some things and make the shop a lot more efficient and just use what space I do have in a lot better way. One thing to kind of keep in mind, in the average garage, and especially this one, you're definitely going to have a lot of wall space. And what that's good for definitely is hanging shelves, hanging pegboard, or even as the guy before me, before I bought this house, had done. He hung a bunch of boards and just put nails in them. And the boards are simply there to span the joist and give more rigidity, either to the shelves or to the nails that are in there. So there's definitely plenty of opportunity to do things like that. Hang more shelving, hang more pegs. Pegboard would be even better, a little more versatile. But that does cost money, although I would like to definitely get a few sheets and build some frames and apply that to the wall. Another thing to consider is with what limited floor space you do have, things like workbenches and work tables can be multi-purpose as both a workspace and a storage unit, simply by building shelves underneath your work table. And a lot of tools, especially that knife makers use, can be permanently fixed to shop tables and things like that as well, which may also help in a certain sense to organize some things a little bit better. That being said, the current layout with my shelves and work tables definitely leaves room for improvement, and I think I'm going to talk about that a little bit in this video. And I may even have to make a second one, as there's a lot of things I'd like to talk about, so this might be a two-part series, so bear with me with that. But as far as what we're currently working with, This is the entryway of my garage, and we do have a few miscellaneous shelves and racks and things. One thing I have to keep in mind on this part of my garage is I don't want to have too many large shelves that extend out past basically that cinder block wall there. And the reason for that is I want to leave myself plenty of room to get up and down the stairs, especially if I'm taking large furniture in or out of that doorway. I don't want to have anything that I'm going to get hung up on as far as shelves or racks or things like that are concerned. So something of this width is definitely more ideal. At the same time, the way this is currently set up, it's pretty inefficient, kind of random. I'm not really sure why it was done like that. So I definitely have plans of A, either ripping all those off and kind of putting them back in a more systematic arrangement, or B, even getting maybe a wall of pegboard there to hang some tools and other things up. What I'll probably do is just kind of keep the same shelf idea, just some thin shelves for putting canned goods and things like that up, as well as maybe some pegs for hanging miscellaneous tools. This area definitely is not a priority as far as storage is concerned, but it can be used for a number of things, just to kind of help organize things a little better in general. Then that kind of brings us to our standard work tables. I definitely want to leave those here, but in this corner there's definitely a lot of wasted space next to my circuit box or my panel box there. And I'd really like to replace that little shelf there with maybe a roll-away tool chest, and that will not only organize my tools a little bit better, but that would just be a much more efficient use of space. And there's quite a bit of garbage and stuff there that needs to be thrown out anyway. So I could easily clear up probably about close to 8 square feet of space right there, which doesn't seem like much right off the bat, but it'll definitely make a world of difference in the long run. Another thing I could do, I keep my control box for my oven on this shelf. I could probably rearrange things here a little bit better, just so I can eliminate this shelf altogether to make room for something like a roll-away tool cabinet or other storage. Keeping in mind, I still want to be able to quickly and easily access my circuit box there. Another thing, going back to the multi-purposing of work tables, I do not need to kind of more efficiently organize that lower shelf. I haven't quite completed framing that out. I do need to get a bigger piece of plywood for that. And that would just make things a lot better as far as organizing things, if I could get it all off the ground and onto a shelf. And I could even store a few things underneath that table, as I did leave that high enough off the ground to store a few miscellaneous cases and things like that. So we can easily store under the shelf as well as on top of the shelf. And if I wanted to, I could maybe even add a second shelf somewhere in the middle or towards the top, at least on a portion of that bench. So that's definitely an idea. But like I said, I think I'm going to have to make 2 videos here. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this video and start part 2, and we'll resume the discussion here.